Hi everyone, I'm Bruce Oberg. Let's hear it for Bob and Alex. That was very impressive. I mean, just think about all those connections they made with the number 11. I mean, it's a crazy accomplishment when you consider that 11 is the most boring number ever. It's just one digit repeated. Now, like most sequels, 11 is nothing more than a soulless and cynical cash-in on the original. I mean, we've seen other sequels like Caddyshack 11, Ghostbusters 11, and I think we can all agree the worst sequel of all time, World War 11. Okay, so, in decimal, we can all agree it's represented by two numerals. They kind of look like bars. And bars, I don't know about you, but they remind me of prison. 11 is like a prison. And let's face it, I mean, no one really here likes the number 11. I mean, we use it when we have to count to more than 10, but does anyone really count it as their favorite number? Okay, don't raise your hands. Because if you like 11, you've obviously been brainwashed. And to be honest, when you first heard about G4G11, did you think, wow, that'll be a really cool theme? I mean, I was on the conference call, with the organizers, and while I wouldn't say there was any verbal disapproval, we all understood that we needed something else to spice up the theme. I adore John Conway, but the sad truth is that he's an alternate theme because 11 itself just can't carry a room. Okay, you've heard lots of facts. 11 is prime, it's the fifth prime, but none of that demonstrates anything. In fact, I am going to posit that 11 is the least interesting number. I can prove this. Now, many of you have spent years trying to convince undergraduates that there are no uninteresting numbers. There's the story about Hardy and Ramanujan, and the taxi with the number that's the cubes of something. Maybe you'll take another tack. Maybe you'll say that there's some sort of rigorous joke proof about the set of all uninteresting numbers must have a smallest element, which would therefore make that number interesting. QED, a paradox, ha ha ha. Well, I don't buy it. That crap only works with the naturals. But when you start looking at, say, the integers, there's no smallest element in the integers. Blammo, suddenly it gets very, very uninteresting. 11, as Alex mentioned, is the number of players on all those different sports teams, but none of you care about sports at all. I mean, just yesterday, Mercer, over here in Macon, Georgia, beat Duke in this huge upset that the entire country was talking about. None of you noticed. You were all building crazy sculptures in the Atlanta outback. 11's dishonesty is fundamental. If you buy a baker's dozen, yay, you get an extra cupcake. But 11 takes one away. In our house, we call this a cheater's dozen. Now, does anyone know about the 11th Amendment to the Constitution? Anybody know what it's about? I see no hands. Of course you don't know what it's about. Because it's dry as dirt. It doesn't mean anything. I can tell you it was meant to reverse a Supreme Court decision in the case of Chisholm versus Georgia. Chisholm, this guy, tried to sue Georgia, this state, and it's about the sovereign immunity of states when being sued by citizens of other states, and it was later extended to Wait. Oh, yeah. Five. Okay, where were we? Oh, sorry. Sports teams, yeah, fundamental. Cupcakes, donuts, Chisholm. Okay, yeah, I fell asleep. Sorry. Okay. That whole thing led to the 11th Amendment, which is so boring they appear to have written it in disappearing ink. Chapter 11 is a serious form of bankruptcy, but due to a court order, I'm not allowed to discuss it. 11 is a metaphor, and it's a metaphor for desperation. That's why we call it the 11th hour. It's that time when all hope has been lost. And you're, say, alone in your hotel room, writing your talk. Maybe only 2 hours left before you're supposed to give it. And you're kind of at the end of your rope. Listen, I believe that the 11th commandment is to not go over your scheduled talk time. So let me be blunt. Don't bother with 11. Your interest is unwarranted. Thank you.